Who's in? No, not you.
Nintendo fans.
What's up, losers? KD3 here. Persona 3 Reload is coming out everywhere. Everywhere except the Nintendo Switch. I'm sure we were all left scratching our heads, wondering why the Switch is being left out this time around. I remember when the leaks came out that revealed a Switch version. Personas 3 through 5 are finally on the Switch, so what's the big deal? Why can't Persona 3 Reload be on the Switch as well? Well, that's what I aim to find out. I saw some rumors floating around that maybe due to the move to Unreal Engine, the Switch may struggle to run the game. Problem with that statement is that hasn't seemed to stop the Nintendo Switch from getting certain third-party titles on the hardware. Heck, Doom Eternal's on the Switch and it seems to run pretty well, so I don't think it's the performance that's stopping them. If I were to throw in my 2 cents, I think that Persona 3 Reload is coming to the Switch, but there's something big that happened with the Switch recently that may dash our hopes of a Switch port for the game, and even if we get it, there's a huge risk that the game's initial launch could be a potential disaster. Last year, Nintendo entered a partnership with Denuvo, a company that specializes in making anti-piracy DRM software, or digital rights management for the uninformed. It's software to verify that you actually own the games that you're playing. The company hit the gaming scene in 2014, touting that their software was uncrackable. Normally companies like this are all talk, and dedicated pirates had their software cracked within a week, sometimes even a day, but Denuvo is built different. The games that have Denuvo either take forever to crack, or don't get cracked at all since it takes too much effort and not enough people care about pirating the games, so Denuvo has mostly lived up to its reputation. If this is your first time hearing about Denuvo, I'm sure that it doesn't sound problematic at all, but ask any PC gamer and they will tell you that Denuvo is a nightmare. No, not because we can't steal the games that Denuvo protects, but implementing this software into your game actually hurts the people that actually paid for the game. How does anti-piracy software hurt the people that spend their hard-earned money on the game, you ask? I'll show you. I'm going to show you guys some benchmarks for a PC game.
Alright, so I pulled up this video from Yeti. He has taken 6 games that have a Denuvo version and a non-Denuvo version, and he's going to compare them together to see how much Denuvo affects a game's performance.
Denuvo is a DRM that has become pervasive in PC gaming among big-budget publishers and independent developers alike, leading to concerns over its impact on performance in games that use it. A few developers do remove Denuvo after their games are cracked, providing an opportunity to compare performance, file sizes, and loading times before and after it was removed. But before we get into our results, let's talk about the methodology used in our tests. We use the game's internal benchmark if one's available, since it's the easiest and most reliable way to create an identical load across the protected and unprotected builds. All tests were conducted with the same NVIDIA driver and with all the settings set at their highest. This is the list of games we'll cover. This is the hardware used in these tests. You'd get bored of listening to me read numbers, so we'll just show you the benchmark runs and the results to prove we didn't just make the numbers up.
The version that has Denuvo is 5 times larger. Not exactly, but look at it. The Denuvo version takes almost twice as long to load. So you can clearly see Denuvo is affecting performance. Look at that, no Denuvo. Takes half as long to load as Denuvo. You're losing a little bit of FPS too, but with some games the effect is a lot more drastic. Or that Dying Light 2. Look at that loading time. Oh my goodness. Look at that. File size is a lot bigger again because of Denuvo. You lose out on almost 30 FPS with Denuvo, the average frame rate. Max can't even reach the max with no Denuvo. And then 400% increase pretty much with Denuvo for this game. These load times, man. Minimum frame rate is much lower with Denuvo. Oh my goodness. As you can see, sometimes the frame rate is just tanking on the Denuvo version of the game. Alright. I think I've shown you guys enough. So as you've seen, the load times are doubled, even tripled in some games. The highest frame rate you can go is lowered. Sometimes you see drastic frame drops. Your average FPS can potentially go down by a lot depending on the game. Denuvo is a very inconvenient DRM to have on your game, and having something like this on the Nintendo Switch is not going to be good. That game already has bad load times for some games, and some games also have bad performance. So with Denuvo, like, it's going to get even worse.
As you saw there, games that run Denuvo take huge hits to their performance, which is extremely inconvenient. I remember hearing about it for the first time when Assassin's Creed Origins came out. Because of Denuvo, the PC release was such a disaster that people's CPUs were melting. Even to this day, almost half of your CPU is being used up by Denuvo in that game. So now you may be wondering, do Persona games use Denuvo on PC? Yes they do! Every game released by Atlus/Sega uses DRM. I found out the hard way when Persona 4 Golden finally got announced for PC. The worst part being that it was announced the day before the game released. Even when I'm playing Persona 5 Royal, I'm thinking about how much performance I'm potentially losing out on because of Denuvo, and this frustrates me a lot since I like to play at really high frame rates. So now, after explaining all of this to you, you now realize that Nintendo plus Denuvo is a recipe for disaster. If Persona 3 Reload did struggle on the software without Denuvo, imagine how much it will struggle with Denuvo. Atlus may be behind the scenes trying their best to make it work, because I know they don't want to miss out on that Switch install base money. I still think a Switch release is likely, but it's going to take them a while to figure out how to get it in a playable state. After all, we don't want it looking like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, do we? I can understand why Nintendo felt like they had to do this. Their games were getting cracked literally a week before release. I would see people on Discord playing the new Pokemon and even Tears of the Kingdom the week before release. At the end of the day, the absolute worst thing about this is that no one wins from this situation. Pirates are not going to take this lying down. They will find a way to get around Denuvo on the Switch, maybe even out of spite at this point. With game preservation not being a priority to these developers, pirates are on the rise and are looking for any and every excuse to crack your game and steal it. And the players that spend their hard-earned money will continue to suffer.
And I'm out. Later, losers.